Welcome to Hate to Wait, where two lifelong dieters talk about their current struggles with weight loss. Diets, we've tried them all. We're not doctors. We don't play them on TV or on this podcast. Join our journey because misery loves company. Facebook Live.
Again.
Hi, Facebook Live. This might be a weekly thing because I kind of like it. I think it holds me even more accountable.
Well, you know, it's funny because people had saw this in the group and they said, wow, your face is really looking a lot thinner. I guess I lose weight in my face first.
I've heard that actually. People lose weight from like the top and bottom and then up to the middle. So that's why like the stomach is one of the last to go. I know. Well, it's even worse for females. For the audio listeners, John just gave a big humph type motion. But for females, our top not only includes our face, but also our lovely chestal area. And for me, I want to hold on to everything I have. Pregnancy boobs are the best, and they're finally going away, and I'm kind of sad about that. Well, now I have extra pockets for my cell phone and wallet and stuff when I'm walking around.
Okay. It's like it goes from a bra to like a Coach bag. We have like keys, the wallet, the cell phone.
Yeah. Well, and my husband jokes, he's like,
a couple of diapers.
He's like, I don't know, you probably shouldn't keep things in there. It's going to, it's like your cell phone. He is worried about that.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I would be.
Well, maybe designers could give us more pockets and not fake ones and not ones where we can only stick half our hand in. And, all there's room for in there is a snack is pretty much it. So.
Yeah, that's a big thing now with, the radiation that even these phones that got better, but I think they're going back the other way. And it's also a thing about sleep. Like they're saying it can affect your sleep cycle.
Yeah.
And I listen to podcasts to go to sleep. I have it right by the bed and it's on and it plays one and I usually fall asleep to it. And then, the next day I get up. So they say, well, you're supposed to take all that out of the room, all of it. I'm like, all of it? How am I, no clock, no what? How do we do that? But they say it really does interrupt your sleep.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, so how was your week?
My week? Okay, it was a weird week, especially stepping on the scale this morning. So the last week in my other podcast, I did an episode on the story behind hamburgers. And John, 4 out of 7 days, I ate a hamburger for lunch because, I don't know, just doing all that research, I wanted it so badly. And I'm thinking, all right, those weren't the best choices. And then I got on the scale today and it was like this week more than made up for last week, Shark Week, where I lost 0 pounds. I was just like, this is crazy. And in my head, I'm thinking I'm already like miles ahead in my imagination of just like, what would be the cover of the hamburger diet book? Like, what? I need to write this. But
okay. So basically what you were doing was a low carb, high fat diet.
Well, I had the bun. That was the thing.
So
I didn't feel guilty about the... No, I was not. I was doing the American diet, except I was doing it in that 4-hour window that I'm eating. And that's it. And actually, there are 2 days a week where I stretch it out again to 8 hours. And that's when my husband is off. And he's home, so he wants both meals. He's one of those weirdos who wants like 2 or 3 meals a day.
One of those guys.
One of those guys. And so I open up my window more. And it seems to actually be pushing the weight loss. It's just like, oh, okay, this is fun. You're changing it up on me. I don't know what to expect now. And the weird thing is I'm not hungry either way. So when he wants to eat dinner, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm used to not having a second meal, but yeah, I could eat. And then I go back on the next day that he's back at work and I'm like, cool, that's my one meal. I'm good. He's actually away for the next 4 days and I am going to need that reminder to eat because he's always my reminder now to eat.
You need a reminder to eat.
Right. I know. I will remember, But that's one of the reasons I really like intermittent fasting is because my day is not completely consumed with what am I going to eat? I should eat now. I'm really hungry and I don't know what to eat and I'm going to eat crap. I don't want to eat crap, but I'm really hungry. Like, I hated that. And it took so much mental energy of thinking that all the time. So with intermittent fasting for 20 hours out of the day, don't have to think about it. Not thinking about food at all. Sure, I want it. If I'm around it, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'd really love to have that in my mouth, but it's not my eating window. I'm okay. The other thing with this diet that I've noticed, every other diet I've been on, I've had cheating dreams. I will go to sleep and I'll dream of cheating on the diet and I will feel so guilty and I will wake up feeling guilty like I got those calories. This diet, I haven't had those dreams. It's really, really weird.
Okay. So for me, all right. So what happened was I figured, well, maybe I can just do the intermittent fasting and not worry about the carbs as much. Reason being was Father's Day.
Yeah. Let's talk about Father's Day.
Okay. So Father's Day, I went to my stepdaughter took me to breakfast and it was very nice. We tried a new place. It was in here in South Jersey. It's called Amy's Omelets and they have like 200 omelets. I mean, it's unbelievable. They have all kinds of crazy omelets. So I'm like, okay, well, I want like a meat and a cheese and whatever. And there was like a salsa and some sour cream on it. It was called the Mucho Gusto. So I got the Mucho Gusto. All right. So this thing comes out. And normally when you get an omelet, it's like the omelet and they give you like a side of home fries. Well, here they put the home fries in the omelet. So I was like, I didn't know this, but all right, well, what am I going to do? I mean, is it going to kill me? One meal, is this really going to kill me? So this thing comes out. It's the size of a car battery. I mean, it's huge. Okay. I'm just going to eat this. I won't worry about, all right, what with me, and I think this is really weird because I think this is really what drives my issues, my cheating, my falling off the wagon and all that, is it immediately starts the cravings. It immediately starts the sugar cravings. It immediately starts everything else. And it's really hard to get back on the wagon again because now I have to go through that whole keto flu. And it was one meal. It was one stinking, how much could that have been? Could it have been maybe 2 cups of home fries, maybe in that omelet? Maybe 2.5. I don't know. It was big. It was a big omelet. I think it was like a 4-egg omelet, and it was loaded. It was delicious. I'm not going to lie. But I didn't even put ketchup on it because I figured that, ketchup's got sugar in it, so I wouldn't put the ketchup on it. But it's been driving me crazy all week. I'm still not out of that craving session where, like yesterday, all I wanted was ice cream. And I mean, I wanted ice cream like it was crack. Like I'm thinking to myself, and I kept saying to myself, you know what? I don't care what you think and what you do and how you're going to try to spin this for me. You're not getting, I was like a child. I was throwing a little hissy. I was like a child. I was like, well, maybe just to go get a small. No, you're not getting a small. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to justify this, and that's not going to work. You are not getting ice cream because we're getting off the sugar if it takes us all week. So it's been a battle.
Yeah. Have you tried Halo Top ice cream? There's still sweetener in it. It's not full sugar. I think there's Splenda in it, and then some flavors will use like a tiny bit of sugar. But you could eat, it's one of those where you could eat the whole pint and it's only 180 calories, 200 calories for the whole pint.
But see, the thing with me, okay, so then I have to look at it. I'll look it up. But, so for me, it's not really calories. It's fat and carbohydrates is basically what I'm, that's basically what I'm looking at.
I think it's one of those things that's actually pretty high in protein. But it was one of the ice creams that like was in the gray area on Trim Healthy Mama. Okay. It was like, you can have this, but you have to stick to the serving size. You can't eat the whole pint. And I was like,
no, because that's not me, because a serving size is a pint. Whatever that container is a serving size to me.
It's true. It's very true.
I can't, it's like, you can have this, but you can have a half a cup. What, are you kidding me? Is that a tease? Stop it.
Well, things like going to the store and getting, not that I do this, but I'm just thinking in terms of serving sizes, a king size candy bar, and they tell you the serving size is a third of that. I'm not going to wrap up the rest of my candy bar and just put it away for later. That doesn't happen. No.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So I'm really kind of fighting that, and it really makes me realize how much I am addicted to sugar. And last time I tried this, and back in 2012, I started a podcast. It's called Let's Reverse Obesity. And if you want to go there, I think there's like 27 episodes on how not to diet. And so episode 4 was quitting, because at the 4th weekend or the 6th weekend or whatever, I was already trying to quit. I was always trying to figure out a way to quit. And to be honest with you, this podcast is a blessing and a curse. Because I'm already doing crap that's not on the up and up, because I have to step on that scale and sit behind this mic. And let me just confess my sins, oh dieters. Because so Sunday was Father's Day, and then everything, like when you eat carbs and stuff like that, your body retains water. So I wanted to do this anyhow. I got this turmeric complex. It's got turmeric and ginger root and black pepper extract. And basically what it's for is for inflammation, because I have problems with that with the arthritis anyhow. So I took that. Well, let me tell you something. I've been going to the bathroom like crazy. So everything I probably lost this week is water weight. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, because when you take these things at first, you're just constantly running to the bathroom. I might have to stop here and run to the bathroom. You'll never hear that because we'll cut it out. But I mean, it's one of those things. It's like you have to go, and you have to go now. It's immediate. So I'm already like saying to myself, what am I going to do when I finally really fall off the wagon, pull a hammy or whatever, and gain weight? How am I going to come back on here and talk like that here? But I'm going to, because I said that's what we do here, because this is the struggle. This is why we started this.
And the other thing is, when I started any diet, I would look for a podcast that was like this. I needed to hear the hosts fail sometimes. They would come on and they'd be all peppy, and not to discredit any diet podcast, but it was very much, all right, are you ready to lose? And they'd come in, how was your week? It was great. I stuck to my diet and I lost another 17 pounds in 3 days. And I'm like, I can't. This is fine the first 2 or 3 weeks when you're all amped up for this diet. But by week 11, listening to that and you thinking, yeah, my scale hasn't moved. I don't want to listen to this anymore.
I don't like this anymore. I don't want to play anymore.
I know, exactly.
I want ice
You're
cream.
winning. Exactly. You're listening to that podcast and going through the drive-thru at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, and it's tough. And then here's the other thing. So one of the podcasts I do listen to, it's called the Eating Disorder Recovery Podcast. It's with Dr. Janine Anderson. She's a psychologist and she handles eating disorder, bulimia, anorexia, binge eating, my favorite. And then so what she did, she had an episode 39 was out, and it was like, she hates to clean. So instead of trying to wait for the motivation to clean, she basically acts as if I'm motivated. All right, I have to clean, so I'm going to act as if I'm motivated. So I'm trying to do the same thing with cooking. I don't want to cook. I have Instapot. It's standing there. We're still ignoring each other. It's still like, hey, I'm over here. You make some eggs. You can have some egg salad. You don't have to go out. Yeah, not today. Maybe tomorrow. Now I have to act as if I'm motivated to do all this stuff. And the other thing is this support group, this coming in here and kind of just sharing and getting this out, it is a big help too. So if you're trying to diet and you're listening to this podcast and you're trying to diet and you're just doing it alone, you can't. You need somebody. You need somebody to lean on. You need a force behind you. I know that I can go into the group that we have and go in there and say, I'm struggling. And I have everybody in there rooting for me. That gives you an amazing boost of endorphins and energy and everything to kind of keep going. And if you don't have that, the worst thing for any kind of diet or weight loss or anything like that is loneliness and isolation. That'll drive you right to the edge and probably right off of the diet that you're doing or the weight loss program that you're doing.
When I was losing weight for my wedding, I had a friend and we both got gym memberships. We were going to the gym, we were dieting, and I started this thing every Wednesday, and I would call it Weigh-In Wednesday. and we'd text each other in the mornings, and we'd talk about the numbers on the scale. And it was funny. By the end, she was just like, oh, I'm just a bridesmaid. Like, I don't want to lose any more weight. Meanwhile, I'm still just like, all right, I can lose weight up to my last dress fitting. And then after that dress fitting, which was maybe 1 or 2 weeks before the wedding, I was like, okay, I fit into my dress. It looks great. She's like tucked in everything. And then I like, not even at the wedding, I let myself go. It was like that week. And you can kind of see that the dress got a little tighter just from that 1 week.
Yeah.
But it was because I had that buddy. But we were both done. We were like at the end. She's just like, we're done. I fit into my dress. You fit into your dress. We're going to Taco Bell right now after our dress fitting.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what we did. And so it happens. But you need that support, and you kind of need somebody to keep you going. And it's funny. There's an episode of The Office where Pam is helping Michael start his paper company. And she realizes if there's one person freaking out, the other person has to be that calm, collected. It's
Yes.
okay. Like, we can do that. And just having that, and also having to be that person, is motivating for both people, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I need that because I like to freak out. So when I freak out, I like to call somebody that can calm me down. Then there's other friends of mine that when they call me and they're freaking out, like then instead of me freaking out with them, I kind of try to calm them. I'm like, okay, just kind of breathe a little bit. Well, let's unpack this. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see how, maybe we can think of some things or some just breathe. And then try to just kind of distract them from this, get them laughing. And if you can get them laughing, usually the tension drops and you can go on. But yeah, you're right. I think that you need a yin and a yang. I think it works out better that way.
Yeah.
Two people running around screaming with their hair on fire. Not so much.
So speaking of when you feel like quitting, I did show notes this week for a friend of mine, Laura McClellan. She does the podcast, The Productive Woman. And I've been filling in while her assistant is on maternity leave. And she did an episode about when you feel like quitting. And she talks about why you might feel like quitting. And this is interesting. I love Laura's show about productivity because she not only gives you tips, she gives you kind of the why behind it, which for me is the only way that something will sink in. It's like, okay, well, you could put a Band-Aid on it, but why don't you tell me why I'm bleeding first? So a lot of the stuff that she talks about of why we want to quit, she's talking about being productive or going to school. And then it was so easy to relate it to a diet because it's like, we're tired. We're tired of dieting. We don't want to go to the kitchen and make more food. We may question what we're doing is actually what we should be doing, and we may second guess ourselves all the time, or we may lose confidence. One of them is that we don't get enough support, or no one cares why, like, no one cared that I was fat. Why am I still dieting? Why is this a thing just for me? Or that the goal might seem so far away that it's just overwhelming. So she gives a lot of tips in the show, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes because it was a great episode to not only listen to, but to write show notes for, just because that means it sunk into me even more that there are so many things that I could do instead of quitting. And it was also nice to get that validation of, if this is too much for you, you can quit and you don't have to feel guilty about it. But I'm like, no, it's not too much for me. It's not bad when I think about it.
I can't quit anymore. I've quit way too long. That's not an option for me. I just won't let that be an option. One of the things I didn't even really think about is the rest, being able to rest, get a good night's sleep, because I've been having problems, sleeping through the night. It's weird. It's like every 2 hours I wake up like the alarm went off and I'm like, it's only 2:00 in the morning. All right, let me try to get back to sleep. 4:00, wake up. What's going on? 4:00. So it's every 2 hours I wake up like someone knocked on the door. I mean, it just boom, I'm up. And I don't know why what that's about.
I've actually heard that is a thing with intermittent fasting, is it might keep you up at night. You might have trouble sleeping at night because your body's, I don't know what's going on, but after I eat, I've lost the whole thing I used to complain about after eating lunch. I'd want to take a nap. That's finally gone. I realized like that's a temporary thing, which is nice. Your body adjusts finally, and I don't just want to sleep. I'm a little less productive. I'm a little more sluggish, but not terribly. Not like I was, where I would sit down in any chair, I would just fall asleep after eating. But then at night, I have trouble falling asleep. And I think I said my husband's away for a few days. So without him in bed, I'm just like, what do I do? Like, I don't know. Last night I was up until 4, just,
wow.
I can't sleep. Can't sleep.
Yeah, and the first thing, so then what that does is it definitely starts to, you want to crave like sugar or something like that to give you energy, something that's real fast. And I think that, when you do, when I was sleeping better, I was feeling better and I wasn't having this issue. So, and then the other thing is like to reevaluate. Okay, so the scale's not moving like you want it to, but what, like our non-scale victories, what happened there, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just can't. Like, I'm not quitting. I'm just not quitting. I'll keep doing it. I'll tell you what, one thing about learning how to podcast, if I could relate that to dieting, is that podcasting taught me how to fail with style. Like, in other words, it taught me that I can do something and it can fail and it's not terminal or it's nothing to get embarrassed about. It's like, okay, we'll do it again. Like today, when I tried to start recording and the thing wouldn't record, but it was recording. I wasn't paying attention. And, so it's that kind of stuff that gets me, like with the diet. Like this week, I had a real tough time because of Father's Day. Okay, it's going to take me a week or two to get back on track, but I'm going to get back on track because there's no other option right now. I have no other option. And if I have to, I'll just go in and just throw myself on the mercy of the Facebook group.
The really nice thing about the Facebook group is no one's there to yell at you. No one's there to get disappointed in you. It's not like you're going to come in and say, all right, I fell off the wagon, and I'm not going to come in and be like, John,
you're worthless and weak.
No, I'm not angry.
Right.
I'm just disappointed. And
right.
No, I'm not going to say that at all. It's just finding that support to get back on the wagon and maybe not even keep going, but almost like Laura talks about this is reigniting, getting excited again for your diet. That's a big thing for me. And I think that's why I stuck with podcasting for so long, is because the more I would learn, the more new things would come out. And I would just be like, oh, what is this blab thing people are talking about? And oh my goodness, this makes what I'm doing so much easier and it's moving so fast. But with a diet, once you learn everything there is to learn about a diet.
Now you just got to do it.
Yeah. There's no new thing of just like, hey, intermittent fasting. We've also added, I don't know, Wi-Fi support. I don't,
What? Can I do that too? Right.
Exactly. They're not adding new things. You already know the diet. So it's one of those things. That's kind of why I need to listen to the Intermittent Fasting podcast, is because every week somebody has a new question. Even if I know the answer to it, I still like hearing them talk about it to sort of rev me up again. Like, okay, I could do this another week. Okay. All right. Great. Let's do this. So
I also, on Instagram, there's I can't remember who I follow, but it's like the success stories. Here's a person, and here's a year after, and they were doing the intermittent and fasting and the ketogenic diet. I don't think the intermittent fasting would work for me as well as it is coupling it with the ketogenic diet. I really think that has really helped me. I can tell when I go off of it, like everything stalls and everything starts to reverse, and it scares me because I got to come back here next week. It does. And then I'm listening to Odd Dad Out.
Oh, yeah.
And holy cow, he goes like on an 18-minute jaunt about the show.
Yeah. Shout out to Adam Higgins for that. That was so cool to go on Twitter and on our Twitter account and get tagged in that notification of, well, I featured Hate to Wait as my podcast of the week on his show, Odd Dad Out. And I went and listened to it, and I was just warm, happy butterflies in my stomach. That was so nice of him.
Yeah, it's crazy because, and he's in the Facebook group with us, but he's like 150 pounds soaking wet. I mean, he's trying to gain weight. Yeah. Maybe I should start a support group for people that want to gain weight, because I can tell them how to do. Oh, you know what? It's not even true, because what works for me wouldn't work for him.
That's true.
So it's one of the things. So anyhow, here's why Adam listens.
Why in the hell do you listen to a weight loss show? I've openly admitted in the past I'm all of 150-ish pounds. And, even at that, I've talked about how that's the heaviest I've ever been in my life. Why in hell would I listen to a weight loss show?
Yeah, I kind of had that same question. I was like, okay, but here's his answer.
One of the things I love about them is they're completely honest. And the thing about this show, and it's like she said, it's not about telling you how to lose weight. They're not telling you what to do or how to do it. All they are doing is chronicling their journey. It is them getting together every week to talk about their ups and downs, their successes, their failures, their struggles. What have they done? What are they trying? What's going on? Recently, John talked about he was actually recording with Jessica from She Podcasts on one of her other shows, and they started talking about this amazing, apparently the best chocolate cheesecake you'll ever have in your life, which then turned into magically his credit card is in his hand and he's ordering this cheesecake and he spends $70 on this chocolate cheesecake to be shipped to him from New York City. But when you're on a diet, a $70 cheesecake is not a good idea.
That is a good point. I'll tell you what, that cheesecake, that was a lot of content. That was over 3 shows over a couple of weeks. I mean, I should be able to deduct that cheesecake from my taxes. I mean, that was...
You should.
It was crazy. But yeah, so, I mean, the fact that people that aren't losing weight find it interesting and entertaining, I like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think okay, totally honest, I can't listen back to this show when I'm talking. Like, I hit like 3 times to get to when you're talking. Because I can't stand to listen to myself talk about this. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. Huh. So, yeah. So it's hard for me to do that. And then here is the other thing that I thought was kind of funny is that, did you realize that you and I are saving lives?
Really?
Yeah.
Like, I listen to the show for my friends. Yeah. I'm not losing weight anytime soon. I've probably got to gain about 20 pounds for my height, but I love the show. Again, even if you don't want to lose weight, it's just a fun listen. It's just fun to listen to them. They have become my favorite drive home when I'm listening to them. And I've talked about it in the past where I work at night. I'm driving home sometimes 3, 4, 5 in the morning. I'm tired. I'm listening to things. I'm chugging Dr. Peppers or whatever to stay awake. If I've got Hate to Wait on, I don't get tired. They've got me laughing the whole drive home. I don't need any caffeine, any sugar, any nothing to get my ass home safely if I've got Emily and John coming out of that speaker.
There you go.
That's true.
Saving
I
lives.
loved that clip so much because, it just, as a podcaster, it makes you feel really happy. I don't know. I get excited to listen and hear where people are listening to my shows. So to hear that from Adam and to know that he's listening to us just talk about our weight loss journeys and he's so happy that we're being honest. I mean, there's no real other way to do a weight loss podcast other than being honest, I think. I don't know. So.
Well, yeah, because again, you might get away with a week or 2 of fibbing. Sooner or later, people are going to notice, I don't know, doesn't look like he's any thinner. Or, I don't know, he looks a little bit more chubbier in the cheeks, So, yeah, I think that and then again, why would we waste anybody's time? For me, as a podcast listener, I hate it when somebody's really wasting my time. So yeah. I want to be able to be authentic and, I take every listener that we have very seriously. So if you're here listening and you're here on the journey and you're struggling too, then if I'm sitting here just being, oh, look, I'm happy, I'm doing this, and we did this week, and that's, I think sometimes we need to talk a little bit more about the good things that we're doing. I think it's more of a dieter's thing to talk about the failures than the successes. We got to kind of try to turn that around.
That's true. Actually, let's turn that around right now. Let's talk about some of the stuff that people are celebrating in the Facebook group in our Winning Wednesday post, because these are great. They're both non-scale victories. Well, I guess No, they're both non-scale victories, really. It's not a number on the scale that they're celebrating. So one member, Jennifer, she posted one of her non-scale victories was she was able to put on a pair of jeans that she hasn't worn in 2 years. And they're still snug, but she can button them, and that is so, 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 so awesome. And yay! Yay, Jennifer! And another member, Jill, talked about the doors at her restroom at work and how she would have to sort of suck it in to enter the stall, which I absolutely relate to. There was one of those doors at my old work, and when I was pregnant, there was just no way I was getting into that stall. And even when I wasn't pregnant anymore, still took a few weeks to get back into that stall without doing the whole Ross from Friends of pivot, because that's what I had to do. So I get it. Awesome, Jill. Yay.
Hold on. Where is it? Congratulations. Yeah, I mean, that's big.
That's awesome.
And it's things like that that you know what's funny? It's things like that you notice more than you notice the scale moving, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. That number on the scale is great, and the excitement of that will last me maybe a day. But if I could fit into a pair of jeans, that means I get to wear those jeans for weeks, which is wonderful. And I don't have to go out and buy new clothes if I can get back into those jeans.
Well, on Father's Day, I had a T-shirt on, and the girls go, "Wow, your shirt's really loose on you." And I was like, "Thank you. I like that."
Yeah, I've started noticing that too with my T-shirts because they used to fit snugly, and now I'm getting more room in them.
Right, and it's kind of nice. Like, although sometimes there's just hey, I don't care. I'll throw all these out and go get another size. I'll do that because as I did this before. Paid for it, but as I lost weight before, I took all the clothes I fed into and I threw them out. I'm like, there you go, because if you're going to gain this weight again, you're going to be naked. Well, that's not true. I just had to go out and buy other stuff. So yeah, but it was the thought was there.
Yeah. Should we get into the weigh-in for us?
Sure.
Talk about our scales.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time for the moment you have all been waiting for. It's time for the weigh-in.
Okay, I think I'm first this week. I can't remember. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go first.
No,
Okay, you go first. Go ahead.
I'll go first. I lost 4 pounds.
Get out of here. That's fantastic.
I know. That's why I was so excited about, I'm going to make this hamburger diet. It's going to be a thing. It's going to be the next big fad is the hamburger diet. But I think it was making up for Shark Week. And
you had a whoosh.
I had a whoosh, which is pretty incredible. And the thing was, those days when I was having the hamburger, I was like, all right, I'm not really trying to go nuts with the healthy eating because I know that's not sustainable for me. If you just hand me, here is turkey and half an apple and some broccoli, I will not, that will not continue for more than a week. But the fact that I was doing that with a hamburger, I don't know. I really, really love intermittent fasting, and I feel good too. I don't feel like I'm depriving myself. And then I get on the scale, and then there's that number. And the funny thing was, my second number of the scale was completely different, but I didn't look at that first. I looked at the last number. So when I saw a 9 and then I saw an 8 today, but when I saw that 9 the other day, I was like, oh God, I gained back all the weight. And then I looked at the second number and I was like, well, that's different. Okay. Holy crap. And even, I even shouted in the house, just holy crap. My husband's like, what? What's wrong? And I'm like, nothing's wrong. Everything's great. Let's go get a burger.
Let's celebrate. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that's fantastic. I'm glad. I was waiting for a big whoosh from you because you've been doing so well. And not only that, I can see it. I can see it in your face. I can see it. I can see it. So that's good. All right. Mine. And I'm going to tell you, it was a rough week for me eating wise. It's been a rough week trying to stay on plan. Although, here's the thing. The intermittent fasting, I always stuck to that. Like, in other words, when the window was open, I was eating. When the window was closed, that was it. When it was done. I lost 4 pounds too. But I think it was mostly water, to be quite honest with you.
Wow.
Because with these turmeric pills or something like that, they're just flushing it out of me. And I'm trying to stay hydrated, but like I said, I don't think I was keeping up with it because it's crazy.
Well, yeah, that's one thing I notice is I do much better when I'm drinking water. And one of my non-scale victories is I finally learned how to drink seltzer, and I just have to drink it in a champagne flute. And I'm like, this isn't bad at all. It's bubbles. It's out of a champagne flute. And I get that pseudo happy feeling of I'm drinking champagne. I should be in a good mood, but it's seltzer and it's wonderful. So I'm okay with seltzer now. I don't have to go anymore.
I think, you know what, and the other thing is too, it's an acquired taste. It takes a little while.
It is, yeah.
And it's just like beer. When I first drank beer, I was like, I can't believe people drink this. This is horrible.
Right? Yeah.
Right? It's one of the same, all that. So coffee, when I first started drinking coffee, I was like, how can anybody drink this? This is horrific. And now I can't start my day without it. So it's an acquired taste. So congratulations on 4 pounds. That's amazing. That's 8, man. One of these weeks, we're going to get a double-digit one. We're going to get a double-digit loss.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have a total real quick? What's the total?
Let's see. Last week, I think we were at 28. So I think total for this whole show, for the 10 episodes we've done this, we have lost 36 pounds.
Wow. That is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big move. I like that. All the people are talking again.
I keep thinking in my head that one day we're going to go on the School of Podcasting and we're going to record a segment because of my podcast. I lost X number of pounds. Probably when we get to like a big number of maybe 50 or
100.
And it's 100. I know. I would love to get to 100. That would be so amazing.
I wonder if Dave listens.
Yeah. Hi, Dave.
So so maybe when we hit the 100-pound mark, we'll both send in because of our podcast story.
Yeah.
I would love that. That'll work.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yes. And again, the non-scale victories, I'm feeling better. I'm still fighting the some of the cravings and stuff like that, but I know I can get by that. And the fact that the other day that I just did battle with myself and I didn't give in, that is a non-scale victory too. Because normally I would have given in and I just wouldn't have said anything to anybody. I would have took that empty cup and I would have buried it deep down in the trash can so nobody would have seen it. Because if nobody finds it, it didn't happen. So there you go. All right, we're going into week 11. We're still doing it. No quitting in sight.
Nope.
We're and again, I really appreciate you for all the hard work you're doing on the show and keeping me motivated. And thank you for everything that you do. I appreciate it.
Thank you for everything you do.
All righty. So next week, week 11, let's see if we can keep this going.
I don't know if it'll be tough for me because my book is due on the 30th, the end of the month. I have 10 days to finish it up pretty much. And
is it doable?
Yeah, it's doable. Yeah. But I'm just worried about the stress of it and the mental stress of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it can go either way. I'll either do really well or it'll just, all right, that's it. It's gone. The cleaning's still going on. So the cleaning's probably going to be the first thing to go when I get stressed.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. Well, that's good. Thanks for listening to Hate to Wait. For more information, you can visit hatetowait.com for show notes and links to anything we've talked about in the episode. And if you'd like to join us on our journey and be part of the Hate to Wait discussion group on Facebook, just go to facebook.com/hatetowait. Wait a minute. There's another link. What's the link? I have to update the notes.
What? hatetowait.com/Facebook.
hatetowait.com/Facebook. Emily, congratulations. And I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, congratulations, John.